The little film that could. The film that came out a couple of weeks ago and ended up embarrassing one of Hollywood's most treasured icons, and Indiana Jones, is still out there and overperforming in the box office. Well, what's going on right now? Well, obviously, Mission Impossible won the weekend, and you know what, hey, well done by Tom Cruise. Totally deserves all the success he puts in the legwork, okay? And he's definitely cut from a different cloth from his other contemporaries, but in second place, kind of surprisingly so, is Sound of Freedom. How did it all shake out now that we have the official numbers from the weekend? Well, let's take a look. The controversial film. What exactly is controversial about it? Has become the surprise hit of the summer, already grossing more than $85 million at the domestic box office. That truly is amazing for a film that only cost single million digit. I think it was like $4 or $5 million. Okay, you're getting my terms wrong. Sorry, your boy's a bit under the weather. Okay. Also, my voice sounds a little bit off. But anyways, the film about child sex trafficking was a boom in ticket sales on Sunday, which made 27+% more in one day than the previous week. Wow, that's super impressive that it went up by over a quarter just on Sundays alone. Holy. On July 16th, Sound of Freedom raked in around $9.83 million, making it the second most profitable film behind Tom Cruise-led Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Ahead of, what was it, Insidious ended up, Insidious 5 ended up taking the top spot last weekend, except for certain days, and Indiana Jones, what did it end up in, like fourth or something like that? It's completely done, it's completely dusted, and Mission Impossible will just be very interesting to see if it has legs. Like I said, a lot of people like it. A lot of people like it. A lot of people are also critical of the script. It'll just be very interesting to see if this film will have legs. But one film that certainly doesn't, sitting in third place on the day, was Harrison Ford's last hurrah as a fictional archaeologist in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which earned $3.8 million at the box office on Sunday. So, yo, check that out. A third. It made a third of the money. This Indiana Jones. Not a fan film, not a fan book, not anything like that, even though it's kind of written like that. No, a canonical sequel to one of the most cherished franchises that is out there in its third weekend, pulling $3.8 million on a Sunday. It's done, man. The desecration of the movie studio, at least when it comes to Disney, is complete. There's not going to be a Star Wars film that's going to come out for at least a few years at this point in time. Who even knows what's in development right now? They won't even tell you. The only time that they tell you if there's something that's in development is either if it's just been announced or if it's been canceled at this point in time. So realistically, LucasFilm has nothing left. We know the slate that Marvel has out there, even though they keep shuffling everything around. In the next one that's on the horizon, the Marvels, good luck turning a profit on that. So yes, the great success of Sound of Freedom is also the biggest mark against it because it is performing. People are liking it, and the people who go down there just don't get any sense at all that this is it's a conspiracy theory QAnon video. All it's gonna do is propagandize people into the far right. You go down there and you watch it, and it's like, no, it's all about dismantling sex trafficking rings. Wow, imagine that. So couple the source material with the success of the film, and then also throw a sprinkle of information from behind the scenes in regards to Sound of Freedom, who was originally, this film was shot back in 2018. Studios have had it in the can for a second. They sat on it for a little while in order to sell it off to the independent Angel Studios that put it out to a small release, and then it ended up getting a wide release because everybody wanted to see that. People couldn't stop talking about this. And who were those studios that shot the film, let it languish in a basement for the better part of a half decade before selling it off to an indie production company? Well, that was Fox. And who was Fox bought up by in a period of time before Sound of Freedom was complete? Oh, that would have been Disney. So Disney's extra spicy that this film that they could have released and they could have seen the profits of this one is beating out one of their 10-pole franchises. So that's why they are, yes, extra salty when it comes to this, and they're deploying all of the tactics because, yeah, we've been over the different headlines that are out there. Rolling Stone making total asses of themselves. Well, you would put that as a mark against their credibility, but it's also Rolling Stone, and it is 2023. They do more than enough work in discrediting their credibility, and they have been doing that for the better part of this century. And now you have insider Sound of Freedom. This summer's surprise blockbuster is fronted by a QAnon supporter and financed by a man who defrauded Medicare. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't accept the premise because there's nothing to it, but why don't you tell us about the film, though? Why are people trying to go to theaters? And even when they do show up to theaters, is it even possible for them to go and see it? Because, yeah, I've been seeing this stuff pop up over the past few days, over this past weekend, just people posting clips on social media, and I'm just thinking it's like one-off accounts, but even AMC Theaters CEO came out and said this. Now, I think this is being spun a certain way, mostly because I don't know specifically which theaters are being affected, but this guy's coming out here protecting his own brand, which is kind of hanging on by the skin of its own teeth. So any bad press associated with trying to deliberately tank one of the surprise hits of the summer, yeah, that wouldn't reflect necessarily well on them. But the proof's in the pudding, my guy, and we got a video here that we're going to show after we get some of the background. AMC Theater CEO slams conspiracy theorists over Sound of Freedom disruption claims. So much garbage information is spread. AMC Theater CEO Adam Aaron and Sound of Freedom distributor Angel Studios have joined forces to quell a boycott against the exhibition chain over the release of Jim Caviezel action movie. Social media users have accused AMC of purposefully disrupting Sound of Freedom screenings, following accusations that the hit film stokes QAnon conspiracy theories. So yes, when you actually have some proof, can't really back it up or substantiate it, really. I'll give my theory as to what I'm thinking is going on behind the scenes, but Rolling Stone, yes, for instance, slammed Sound of Freedom as QAnon-tinged thriller, or actually what was more egregious than that was, it's a superhero film for fathers with brainworms. It's like, wow, you just think that they're not just misinformed people, you think that they're actually infected by a virus. All right there, AH. Claims including AMC canceling screenings and disrupting showtimes with technical difficulties and broken air conditioning. Sadly, conspiracy theorists are so prevalent in America. Exactly, and they only come from one side, right? So much garbage information is spread. Aaron wrote on Twitter, more than 1 million people have watched Sound of Freedom at AMC theaters, more than any other theater chain on the planet. So yeah, okay, maybe he's sticking up for some of these things that are happening at lesser theaters. Maybe AMC does have stringent rules and nobody's allowed to really mess with stuff, or they don't have access to any of the controls. Totally would make sense, right? Yet people falsely claim otherwise. It's so bizarre. Yeah, I don't think people are directly attacking AMC. It kind of sounds like this is a little bit more of a subversive campaign. Yeah, you have one of the heads of the biggest theater houses that's out there say that no, this isn't happening at our theaters. Just go about your day. Don't believe your lying eyes. Just if you want to scratch that far right itch, come on down, buy a ticket, and we'll just hook you up with a showing here at AMC. Angel Studios is behind the Sound of Freedom release and used a pay it forward app to encourage moviegoers to buy tickets for others to see the film. Yeah, one of the more predominant supporters of that method has been Dana White of the UFC, saying that anybody who works for the UFC, if they want to go see the film, he'll go ahead and quote unquote pay it forward and pay for the ticket because he believes in the film that much, which is just so wild to see. Not because it's out of the mold for Dana White, who's like a really good guy, and again, somebody else who the media deliberately hates because he ran an incredibly successful business during the time when if you open up your business, you're basically killing grandma. But about $2.6 million of opening day sales were earned through this method. The studio released a statement stressing to fans that AMC is supporting Sound of Freedom. Yeah, by obviously, you can take a look and you can see the additional screens that were afforded. Don't know what percentage that was that came directly from AMC, but they realized that, wow, literally nobody's showing up to Indiana Jones. We got 4,600 screens. Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and cleave off about 700 empty theaters and, I don't know, put something in there that'll actually put butts in seats. Weird phenomenon that you have there. We understand there are rumors, predominantly on social media, that AMC theaters have made it difficult for fans to see Sound of Freedom in the local AMC theaters, and we want to make it clear these rumors are not accurate. Angel Studios head of theatrical distribution, Brandon Purdy, said, well, it's his entire business, and it's his job to have good relations with heads of theaters in order to get his films in play. So yeah, he's not going to throw the distributors under the bus. AMC has been an outstanding partner for Angel Studios Studios. See, there it is. And in fact, the result of movies' performance and consumer demand. AMC has agreed to add additional screens for Sound of Freedom this weekend. Yeah, we've seen the uptick, okay? Already added. Angel Studios and producers of Sound of Freedom are asking our fans to support AMC and all of the other theatrical partners. Summer is the busiest season for people working in theaters, so we ask anyone attending the screening of blah, 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 all that stuff, you know, just be nice to everybody, because, yeah, it's not a whole blanket ban or anything like that. It's not everybody at AMC theaters, nor has anybody actually claimed that. There's just instances all over social media, and this is not exactly a completely comprehensive list. It's just a 30-second highlight reel that just overwhelmingly shows that there's a lot of weird stuff going on at several theaters. I don't know what the inside of an AMC theater looks like. This one might very well be. A couple of them that are in here might as well be a part of the chain. I'm just saying, man, like it's captioned here, I put together a compilation of strange events happening at Sound of Freedom theaters all over. Bettawood is frantically trying to stop you from seeing this movie. It really does seem like that, because you don't hear that kind of response from anybody seeing, Mission Impossible. Everything seems to be fine, and, well, let's just watch the video here real quick, and then I'll add my commentary over the back end of this.
Excuse me. This horrible...
So, okay, yeah, first thing that you see right there, you see firefighters come in. What, did somebody come in or call in a bomb threat? So, obviously, that has the AMC badge on his chest. So, yeah, that must be an AMC theater, right?
Excuse me. This horrible smell. It smelled almost like an electrical fire. We're getting ready.
So, okay, so there was an electrical fire in the theater. That could purely be coincidental, okay? So that's not a lot to go on so far, but okay, it's a little strange, but then start to tie the rest of the stuff together.
Funds for the Sound of Freedom, because apparently the water pressure in the bathrooms aren't working here, so no one can watch.
Literally.
Okay, water pressure in the bathrooms. Now, I understand in order to have an operational business, you have to have running facilities, okay? I'm sure there's some building codes or some licensures that are required, but that doesn't really sound like a theater issue. But again, I'm trying to be best faith interpretation that all of these are just simple quinky goddamn dinks just affecting Sound of Freedom customers. Interesting, though.
They had the lights on.
They kept the lights on the entire movie.
Who does that?
Should be back.
Lights on during the entire... Okay, that one seems... if you go up to the manager, it's like, why are the lights are on? Okay, you just go up to the front kiosk and it's like, excuse me, can you guys just go ahead and turn off the lights? Because that would be great if there's not an usher in the theater. I don't know, it's been over a decade since I've been to the theaters. Like I've said multiple times before, the last film that I seen in theaters was The Dark Knight Rises, and I'd imagine things have probably changed quite a bit since then, but we still got the guy ripping your ticket stub before you enter the theater. Well, you could go inform him of your improper viewing experience. But no, I'd imagine there's somebody you can go see, somebody patrolling the hallways or some shit like that. I'm not entirely sure, but what's this one right here? Sound of Freedom just shut off. Okay, they blamed it on the weather. The weather? Don't they have a projector and like DVDs or USB sticks or something like that they feed into the projector? Don't they actually have like a physical copy, or as much as a digital copy is a physical copy, and they don't have to stream it? So what the fuck does weather have to do with any of that stuff? That's weird.
Back up in about, I would say about 5 minutes, okay?
And they turned the movie off.
So yeah, just delays so far, but okay, what is this? Someone came in and they turned the movie off, okay.
Just to let you guys know again, it is gonna get hot.
Okay.
It's gonna be like that throughout the whole...
Yeah, that's the first one that came up. The air conditioning's off, just specifically in that theater. Again, it could happen, but all of these together are unique events, and I'm sure that this isn't, like I said, a comprehensive list. It's just very, very odd.
So why is it only this one, though, not all the other ones?
Yeah, exactly. Very fair point. Why is it only happening in that theater? And yes, of course, these are all coincidental. Some of them's just simply electrical malfunctions, stuff that's a little bit too high level that individual theater workers don't have anything to do with. But also, okay, it's July. It's a movie theater. What are you going to be getting right now with the influx of films that are in there right now? Obviously, these places are going to have to start to hire more people. What's out right now? High schools and colleges. Okay, what is the overarching ideology that's being taught in these places, well, you already know what time it is. The people that would be sympathetic to think that anybody that has the political stance right of Chairman Mao is somehow attached to QAnon. So if they could go ahead and mess with the screening, turn down the air conditioning, stop the film, delay the release of the film, keep the lights on, if they could do little petty shit like that, well, yeah, of course, they think that they're doing some societal good by keeping people away from the dirty right-wing film. Do I think that most of this stuff that's been cataloged is somehow deliberate? Chances are some of them are. Can't corroborate that at all. Do I think all of them are? Nah, man. There's too many other additional things over the top of that. That would more or less just be a theater-wide thing, and you don't want to have that in a theater, just to, stick it to the maggots that are out there. But hiring little activists that think that they're going to be doing their part, I think that can probably be attributed to at least a percentage of the issues that are going on with this film, but it's also not deterring people from showing up. In fact, it's kind of having the reverse effect by having those numbers, like we seen at the beginning, go up, the longer this film is in theaters. And hey, man, to the delight of moviegoers and to the bane of the activists that work at these places, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.